Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to talk about if the advice that Jim Cramer gives out is good or bad. So if you don't know who he is, Cramer is the host of a show called Mad Money. It's been around since 2005, and in the past 17 years he's been giving people financial advice on specific stocks on whether to buy them or sell them. And in recent years he has come under a lot of hate. So he's a former hedge fund manager, so a lot of people just don't like those people at all. And people have said that he makes terrible financial advice. So I decided I was going to look further into it and see if he gives good advice or not. And when I first looked into Cramer, I saw this thread on January 3rd saying to buy Netflix. And it's a tweet, so you can tell he really means it. It's not just something he says in passing. And since Cramer has said to buy this, it has gone from about $600 per share to about $200. So this is pretty clearly very bad financial advice from Cramer. But next I looked into how he invests himself. What does he invest his money in? So does he buy the stocks he tells you to buy? And the quick answer is no, he does not. Because he's not allowed to. So it would be a pretty clear conflict of interest if he was telling you to buy a stock that he already owned. So he does not own any individual stocks. He has 40% in US index funds, 5% in international ones, and then 5% in gold and crypto. And then he has the other 50% of his money in cash. So you may think, hey, why does he only have half of his money in the stock market? And the answer is pretty simple. So he's in his late 60s, and his wife pretty simply just said, hey, half this money's mine, and I don't want my half in the stock market. So he listened, and he pulled half the money out of the stock market, next to the portfolio that he does control. So the most recent chart I could find for this was through the end of 2017. So it is about 4 years out of date. But it does cover about 15 years, so I think it has some validity to it. And over those 15 years, if you put $1,000 in the S&P 500 or $1,000 under Cramer's control, you would have over $1,000 more dollars just leaving it in the S&P 500. So it's not looking great for him so far. And while I searched for hours, I could not find any compilations of all of his financial advice. So I can't tell you the exact profit you would have compared to the S&P 500 over the past 17 years of his show, because in each show he gives out like 30 different things of stocks to sell and stocks to buy. However, in recent years, through the power of the internet, people have been looking thoroughly into his track record, and there's an index somebody is keeping, and it's called the Inverse Cramer Index. So essentially what it is they do the exact opposite of whatever Cramer tells them to do. So for example, at this time in May, if he said sell, they buy, and so on. And in the past 6 months that this has been a thing, it is down 15%. However, the S&P is down 17%, so you kind of have to take that as you will. It's done bad, but it's done better than the stock market, so I won't take that as anything conclusive. And as you can see on this chart of it, it's been really rocky. So the first inverse Cramer index I looked at was inconclusive. It was fairly negative, but it also was better than the stock market, so I guess that's sort of a win, but not really. Then I looked at this big post on Wall Street Bets on Jim Cramer, and this was fairly inconclusive as well. So it was a separate person, and they also did an inverse Cramer index, and this was also relatively similar to the S&P 500, but it did not lose a lot of money. And what this tells you is if Cramer was constantly getting things right, doing the opposite of him would lose you a lot of money. So after looking at the inverse Cramer index, I decided to look a little bit more detailed, and I found a list from Cramer on his top 5 stocks to buy on January 3rd, and then I compared it to where they are today. So his number 5 stock was Procter & Gamble. And before I get into it, you have to keep in mind the S&P 500 is down about 15 to 20%. So his number 5 company, Procter & Gamble, it started at roughly $165 per share, and today it is at $145. So it's gone down about $20. So I would say this pick is very slightly ahead of the stock market. So I'll count this as a half win. Then his number 4 stock to buy is Bank of America. And Bank of America went from roughly $45 to about $32. So it went down about $13. And this is a definite loss because this stock has gone down over 30%. Next is Citigroup Inc. And this one counts as a loss as well because it's fallen about 25%. So it's not looking good for him so far. He has a sort of half win and he has 2 losses. Next is AbbVie, and this one has gone up. So this is a definite win for Cramer. So he's at 1 definite win, 1 sort of win, and 2 definite losses when compared to the S&P 500. So if he finishes off strong, he can win this. However, his last advice was in Disney, and unfortunately, Disney's down about 33%, so he has 3 losses, 1 win, 1 sort of win. So if you listened to Cramer's advice at the beginning of this year, you would be much worse off than if you just bought the S&P 500. And Cramer even acknowledges this. He says that even though his show is all about buying individual stocks, he thinks that trying to invest in individual stocks that will beat the market is a terrible idea. So blindly following his stock picks might not be a good idea. But there is one way that has been proven right on how you can make money using Cramer's stock advice. But before I get to that, please consider subscribing to my channel for daily videos and leave a like if you like the video. But back to the video. The one thing that has been proven to make money using Cramer's advice is called the Cramer Bounce. And what this is that in the 1 to 2 days after Cramer has a segment saying that you should buy it, it goes up 3 to 5%. However, a large majority of the time, within the next 12 days, they fall back down to what they were. So one potential way to make money would be listen to a show, Mad Money, buy the stock in the morning, and then potentially sell it at night. So while this is an idea for how to make money, I personally would probably not do it, and I'll just stick to the S&P 500 myself. And then finally, what I do agree with Cramer in is that he has been really trying to get young investors is to just buy stocks in healthy, good companies like Apple, let's say, instead of buying options and things that are much, much riskier. So in review, what should you do? Should you trust Cramer? Should you go against Cramer? What to do? I personally would just buy the S&P 500 and kind of let it be. But there has been some slight evidence that buying the opposite of what Cramer said would make money. However, it's not conclusive, and there's not a significant difference than the S&P 500. So that's a lot of effort you would go through for not a lot of gain. So now for everybody's favorite segment, the joke of the day. Joke of the day. Boo! Boo! Joke of the day. Boo! Boo! A client asked his advisor, "Is all my money really gone?" "No, of course not," says the advisor. "It's just with somebody else." So thanks for watching my video. Subscribe for daily financial videos. Like the video if you liked it. And leave a comment below if you have any ideas for future videos or any comments on this video. Bye.